Selain daripada Liechin pun ada.
Jadi ada tu pelapis
daripada Sarawak.
juga.
Nama dia Nurul Faisha dengan Rania.
Progress.
For SEA Games.
Yeah.
As usual, basically diving has been well prepared, but this time we are a bit different than the past SEA Games. It's because that we are using pelapis more towards the juniors into the SEA Games for this championship. So that's why our preparation, we are well prepared, but the host itself are quite strong because they choose the events that are strong in, and they eliminate most of the events that they are not strong in. So basically, they used to have 11 events. They cut down all the way to 4 events. So as usual, MSN target is 4 goals, but there are certain events that we are fighting among the Thailand and Singapore. So we need to see very closely with the divers' progress, especially the 1 meter and 3 meter springboards. These are the main events.
Okay, with so less events that we are not favorites, do you see that it's having that pressure to build that capacity for them to, if you miss out, it's not the end, you still can continue that part of the, because it seems a lot of athletes, the younger athletes especially, when they don't deliver the expectation on them, they just crumble, and then we see a lot of them fade out. So we still need to think about the bigger picture, Asian Games and Olympics. So
Yes, correct. So in the podium list of our divers, we only have like 8 divers right now. So if we were to scratch them, that's totally unfair to our management side because we want divers to continue diving up or due to LA. So we already lack of female divers. So now we are trying to growing pelapis towards the podium level so that they're able to compete more Tamasha competition like Asian Games, Commonwealth Games. Although Commonwealth Games is not terlibat lah for next year, but we try to have other competition to replace so that they do have for example like Asian Championship. We try to replace between certain games so that they're able to cope up with their KPI.
in terms of their MSQ, is the number positive enough? They are achieving the MSQ for to do well in the SEA Games, or it is still, because we know this is not our regular events, is that a issue there?
Actually, it's not much an issue because the minimum qualifying score from diving is basically derived from the World Championships. So we use that as a benchmark for the divers to qualify themselves at least 2 to 3 times consistently. That's why we wanted the divers consistently to prove to us that they are fit to compete like in World Champ and SEA Games. Even like World Champs, if some of the divers are not fit to compete in certain events, we wouldn't send the divers to the World Championship because we try to focus on quality instead of quantity right now.
In terms of updates on Dabita, how is she doing, the other senior athletes, their condition now?
I only can voice out for Pandalela because Tabita basically is on a leave right now. After the Paris Olympic game, she told MSN that she need a long rest just to recover her injury and body condition. That's why she only she able to continue her training in maybe the next month or two until when she back. Then only we know the condition how is it. But for Pandalela, has been ongoing as the championships, like after the Olympic Games, we do have Malaysia Open, this and that. So basically her MQS, her KPI are consistently. Although she did flop some of the events during the World Cup, but that's not a major problem because it was still beginning of the year. Now, towards the end of the year, I can see that most of her dives and consistency is there. And then she's mentioned that she's injury-free from this World Championship at the moment.
Pandalela, before the World Championships coming up, she competed here and she did really well, like you said, no injuries and all. Maybe your expectations for her when she goes for the World Championships, how do you expect her to do before?
For now, we basically monitor closely on her on her diet, on her fitness, and then especially that she requested more towards the physiotherapy part. So that's why during the Canada, there is a hiccups with the officers. That's why we couldn't brought a physiotherapy along. So even she did have any injury, this and that, she couldn't able to recover on time. But this time we are more well prepared, and then at least we could well prepared. At least know tak ada sebab lah kalau nak apa kan.
Okay. Can you just so close to the world champs?
Yes.
Beside looking at the established, the senior athlete Pandalela, the younger guys, do you see they making a breakthrough lah? Not to say we don't expect them to finish on the podium or go to the final, but at least progress. Anyone do you see that can make a statement?
When you say beside Panale, it means all the juniors, is it?
Yeah. Juniors closer.
Closer.
They don't qualify to the world champ, but are they getting closer? How is their progress?
Oh, that means under the those still there's a gap right now. So we're trying to fix the gap as close as possible between the pelapis and podium. So there doesn't have a gap between the, we call it bakat, the development side. So this is still I'm still planning and developing the rules and regulation, and then we try to discuss within the state coach so that we're able to bring the diverse standard part what we used to be in the 10-20 years ago. Because those days when we send divers towards the Olympic Games, World Champ, it's more than 10, 20, 12 people. But now it's getting lesser, but at least there's the team is coming up gradually based on the MQS. Last time basically it's based on handpicked by the coach, but although it's handpicked, but the coach know that the standards of each diver, for example like Brian Nixon, Panalela, Leong Mani, they know where they stand. So at least when they compete, they're able to bring back at least a medal from World Champ, World Cup, and even the Olympic Games. But now everything goes on data, so that's why we need to prove that if the upcoming divers are good enough, if they hit their scoring, their minimum qualifying score MQS, we will bring them into other championships. So to prove themselves that they are ready to elevate their ranking into pelapis or podium.
Last one, can be the projection for our athletes who will be competing in the World Champs in Singapore.
The name is what? Projection.
Projection lah, what
Okay.
they can expect from them.
For the podium one, we always expect them to be in the finalists. Okay. For the first timer who compete in the World Championship, we allowed them to gain experience so that in the future they are more well prepared for the SEA Games, because those who went for the World Championship, it's actually a stepping stone towards the SEA Games. So we want at least a big tournament to feel pressure on them. So when they go to SEA Games, at least the games level are slightly lower, but in order to control their rhythm, because sometimes when they compete, they feel nervous, this and that. But once they compete in the higher level, at least they don't feel that much.
Anything update dengan Betin Rodik, dia pun macam
Betin
tak
Rodik.
compete kan. So any update about him?
So it's very clear cut that we didn't select Roddick is because that we all based on MQS. So he did focus on the synchro, but unfortunately his synchro partner got injured and he didn't really qualify himself on the individual event. So that's why there are some juniors overtook him based on the 2 to 3 what do you call it? The MQS has to be fulfilled at least 2 to 3 times. So Roddick never fulfilled that requirement, so we couldn't send him, and we couldn't even justify whether he's doing well or not to the MSN, because MSN need someone who qualified 2 to 3 times in other championships in order to send them into the World Champ and SEA Game, although they don't have the event. Other big tournament internationally.
Is Bertrand's condition performance is a concern, or what's actually going on with him?
After the Olympic Games, he was having wrist condition, sakit. So he has been consulting doctor in and out, but due to the inflammation that it's disturbing him most of the time. So right now, he didn't qualify for the World Champ. He's taking this period of time just to monitor on the wrist.
So it doesn't require surgery or anything, any update from ISN on that.
He say at least 6 months monitoring, so it's still under the 6 weeks monitoring. Not 6 months, right?
3 meters springboard memang tak ada calon lah pada
Perempuan.
Ya, perempuan.
Perempuan memang tak ada calon disebabkan MQS dia tak qualified, so kita tak menggalakkan penerjun untuk pergi compete. Because everything now based on data, so kalau divers kita tak qualify MQS tu mengikut kita punya rules and regulation, maknanya kita tak hantar lah. Sebab sekarang MSN nak pergi compete, terus ada result. Dia tak macam dulu, pergi sebab kali ni ialah World Championship. It's not about experience, gaining experience. You're supposed to go there and prove yourself that you are some value to the country. Especially if you go there, you have to hit a certain criteria or your KPI.
Any the MSQ evaluation on how long is the duration or period to monitor whether they're consistently doing
Okay,
it?
so good question. So basically, our MQS, we monitor based on World Championship. Top 12. So let's say next month will be the Singapore World Championship, then everything, all the scoring will be reset again. Let's say the standard got higher, then we have to move our score higher. So the benchmark will be higher, so the divers had to work harder to qualify for it. So that way, we're able to tell you guys that the press that, okay, we're able to aim as a finalist because the
Database.
the quality is there.
So for the athletes' performance for the MSQ, they need to consistently hit their MSQ for how long? In training, or how do you monitor their
Oh, not in training, basically in competition.
So the athletes have to consistently hit their MSQ in competitions.
Yes, I give a good example like Elvis. He's in platform diver. So whether it's in age group category or open category, he's been consistently hitting the MQS more than 5-6 times. So Roddick didn't compete, so he got kosong. So obviously we have to send someone that is really consistently top there.
So kira untuk for the World Champ berapa atlet yang sekarang dalam senarai
7.
7? Berapa lelaki berapa perempuan?
Perempuan 2, laki 5.
You mentioned Elvis is doing well with the NQS.
Hmm.
You mentioned earlier that you had some targets for them to reach the final. So Elvis is part of the projected to reach the final.
No, because he's still under the pelapis kebangsaan and this is his first World Championship. So, excuse me. So we always emphasize on first timer, more towards experience, and then preparation for him for the SEA Games. But most of the divers that went for this time for the World Champ basically are preparation for the SEA Games.
Coach, sasaran coach kat World Champ apa? Sasaran.
Sasaran.
Actually.
Kita biasanya podium level kita menggalakkan diorang qualified di finalist. So yang bukan tu at least lah dalam Asian game punya country top 3. Asia country lah, tak terlibat Europe dengan negara lain.
World Champ ni coach nak hantar dia ada kuota dia ke ikut standard markah dia? Actually nak hantar ke World Champ ni?
Kuota.
Ada kuota ikut kuota ada World Aquatic atau kita
Tak
boleh
ada,
hantar
tak ada.
berapa banyak?
Kita boleh hantar berapa banyak, tapi kita tak ikut sesuka hati menghantar. So kita kena
MQS
ikut
lah.
MQS kita orang. Contohnya ada yang podium tak hit MQS, kita tak hantar. Biarpun event tu tempat tu kosong.
Siapa yang diletakkan harapan untuk edisi podium?
Harapan. Sekarang dulu kita semua tak harapan kat Lela kan. sekarang kita masih letak harapan kat Senkro di 10 meter. So dia punya Senkro partner is a new partner, also first timer. Okay. Her name is Yeoh Ken Nee. So Liet Ching and Pandalela will do the synchro on the 10-meter platform. So that is our harapan lah at the moment.
Cing yang main springboard tak?
Main
Platform
platform.
ya.
Dia
SEA Games gold medal.
which year ya?
Last SEA Games lah.
Last SEA Games.
Last SEA Games gold medalist 10 meter platform.
Coach nak tanya, ada nampak harapan tak untuk pengganti Jun Hong?
Jun Hong.
Liet Ching coming up.
Ya, only Liet Ching.
Liet Ching is coming up.
Selain daripada Liet Ching pun ada.
Jadi ada tu pelapis
daripada Sarawak.
juga.
Nama dia Nurul Faisha dengan Rania.
Macam mana progres diorang? Tak boleh compete untuk SEA Games lagi.
Siapa?
Both
Both.
yang untuk
Berjalan setahun.
Oh, yang pelapis tu. Rania dengan Faisha tu. Yang tadi saya sebut nama tu. Mereka compete for SEA Games. Yes. Yes, they will compete for SEA Games. For this SEA Games, we won't use Pandalela and Liet Ching. Because this time we are giving the chance towards the pelapis level.
Coach, dulu Pandalela pair dengan Rania kan? Singko. Before this. You change to Ching Kita tahu tak? Masa tu Brian atau you?
Tak, dia bukan Rania kot. Dia dengan siapa? Dabita.
Ya itu.
Dabita.
Bukan Rania.
Wah, ini kena ungkit.
Oh,
Kena
jadi
tengok.
kita.
Dengan Dabita. Liet Ching baru. Lepas tu dengan Rania tak ada.